What it do, my brothers? What it do, my sisters? To all of my kin folks and my knee G's out there, y'all already know. Back at you again. What up, tribe? Man, y'all gotta forgive me. Been working out, hungry, eating trail mix. I typically do not eat trail mix, but we eating it today. But anyway, I'd like to welcome y'all back to Ninth House Truck Lines. It's been a minute since we recorded and uploaded anything on the trucking channel. Been having a lot of other stuff going on. As they say, life been lifing and whatnot. So during the whole since last year, I've been on this Amazon account and whatnot, and they have not made my life any easy whatsoever. So I just said, you know what, fuck this shit, and I quit. I was supposed to go to work last Tuesday. Actually, I was supposed to pick up a load last Tuesday night, last week, about 10 o'clock at night. So the guy, his name is Dan. Well, he tell us to call him Dan, but his real name is Daniela, Brazilian foreigner. And his business partner is a guy named Bruno. So I have constantly been repeating myself over and over and over and over about this running at night shit. Excuse me again. Ain't nobody believe me. The hood truck driver came out. I just say that. I said, fuck this shit. I ain't doing this shit no more. And I'm glad. I'm glad and I'm happy. I don't have no regrets whatsoever. I'm walking away. Now, before I go any further, I would like to give my condolences to the family members that had lost some family this past Sunday, this past Mother's Day. It was a real bad accident on the Georgia coming into Tennessee side. For y'all that know, yes, I do live out here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And I'm literally probably like about 5 minutes away from the Georgia state line. The youngest son actually lives on the Georgia side. Probably take about 20, 25 minutes to get to him and his fiance and whatnot. But I forgot to, matter of fact, it was right around the Tennessee rest area. And now y'all gonna start to understand why I said I'm glad I walked away from. The name of the company is called TCB Trucking, but they got accounts with Amazon. So y'all gonna understand why I said I'm glad I walked away. This past Sunday, the driver, it was a truck driver that wound up causing the accident. Okay, I think it might have been about 3 or 4 cars or whatnot, and he was pulling an Amazon trailer. Go figure. 2-3 months ago, another real bad accident. This happened in Texas. Oh, matter of fact, before I even get on that one, I just found out the driver that caused that accident, he's a Haitian out of Florida. And it's pretty much a wrap, a done deal for him, because he's over in Silverdale, a detention center and whatnot. You know, I mean, I don't got no words. Well, I do. God damn, say nothing but these recruiters. I was supposed to be going on. Supposed to been on the bus. I headed up to Chicago today, working for this company called Enlightened Truck Drivers of America, LLC. Well, when the recruiter had gave me the address to where their facility is at, it's the Super Ego's main terminal in Chicago, Illinois. So I said, hold on, man. It's like, no. You know what I mean? We not about to start the relationship off where you on some bullshit, out the gate. And I wound up Googling the company up, and they're supposed to be out of Ohio. So I was like, well, why? I was like, you know what, my spirit and intuition, and I was like, no, you can, maneuver, do something different. But anyway, the Haitian, he didn't even slow down. I mean, I think it was three cars, because the first 2 cars that he hit, they actually caught on fire, and that's how the people had wound up passing away, ascended. He ain't slow down, and like I said, about 2-3 months ago, it was another accident in around Austin, Texas. Another foreigner, he was from Somalia. pulling an Amazon trailer container. So yeah, you know, you're probably like, well, where am I going with this? Sometimes you have to be able to open up this third eye up here. Your third eye is already supposed to be open. Let me say that. Your third eye is already supposed to be open. But sometimes you have to be able to take a step back and look at things in a spiritual format, spiritual reality, spiritual, just spiritual. You know, versus I think it's basically don't lean on thy own understanding, you know, but lean more towards, you know, spirit, your heart, tapping into your heart chakra, tapping into your third eye chakra, tapping into your crown chakra, you know, and whatnot. But tapping in, you know, to certain chakras, tapping in to spirit and whatnot. I just started kind of getting a bad vibe. And y'all know what I mean, cause sometimes y'all get bad vibes on when y'all meet certain people. You know what I'm saying? Hell, y'all even get y'all because this is going on YouTube. Y'all even get vibes because this happens to me all the time. So I know if this happens to me, I know this probably happens to other people also. But when I see certain people on certain videos, I just get certain vibes. You know what I mean? And I'll be like, nah, you know, I don't want to hear nothing what you got to talk about. You know what whatsoever because also I understand that me taking my time and my energy to watch someone else talk, and if they talking about some bullshit, it can have an effect on me, on my aura, and my reality, and whatever else you want to call it. So, you know, I just started to get a funny feeling. Not only that, now I can go ahead and just really put this out here. Right before the Somalian driver had did what he did, because he did the same thing that the Haitian guy had did. The only difference between the both, the Somalian, he was actually driving through a construction zone. But both of them, major common denominator is they never did slow down. They ran up on the back of somebody. So that in layman's terms, traffic was already stopped. People had their foot on the brake. You can see the headlights, the brake lights, and whatnot. So how do you do what you did? Well, coming from me, you weren't paying attention. You was doing something in that truck you didn't have no business doing. Now, are we all perfect? No, no. I mean, because I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Yeah, yeah. I'm going down the road. Boom. You know, if I need to send a text or whatnot, yeah. You know. But also at the same time, I try not to let it be noticeable. You know what I'm saying, or even seen. Because if a DOT officer was to catch me, that's it. I think the fine might be like $5,000 or $10,000, some shit like that. But I can't afford that. And then that automatically goes on our CSA and whatnot. And then if you try to go look for another job, that don't look good. Especially if you go to, I'm gonna say, a medium sized company or a larger sized trucking company, because they have safety people and also a safety director. Now you got to, okay, I've been driving 15 years. I can become a safety director for a company because I have the experience. I have not been in major accidents and whatnot. Yeah, I got a couple of speeding tickets and a couple of log violations. You know what I mean? But you know, you kind of, you know, been there, done that. So if a driver come in, my assistants are telling me, hey, he's you know, trying to talk to you and explain what happened about him getting caught talking on the phone or whatnot. I'm not gonna hear that shit. I'm just keeping it real. And the only reason why I say that is because um we have headsets. You know what I'm saying? So you shouldn't be on your phone like this, you know, in a semi truck going down the road with one leg kicked up on the dashboard and the other hand is on the steering wheel, like you in a goddamn it deuce and a quarter. You know what I'm saying? No, 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 no. No, we're not going for that. So, it's a point in time where you have to be quote unquote somewhat professional. Is anything professional about this industry? Hell no. I'm the first one to I say it. Hell no. Any and everybody could drive a semi truck. And I hate to say it, but a lot of the foreigners, they proving that. They proving me what I'm saying is right and accurate. Hell, they're even driving semi trucks. They don't even know how to drive their own fucking personal car, but they're driving an $80,000 vehicle. Go figure. But anyway, so before the accident in Texas, I had to run. I think I was going I had to go like Olive Branch, Mississippi, and then I think I had to go up to Memphis and then come back down to Olive Branch and whatnot. It's a scale house on US 72. Was it US 72? I think it was. Yeah, 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 because it ain't none on the Alabama side. Yeah, yeah, it ain't none on the Alabama side, but it's a eastbound and a westbound scale house on the Mississippi side. So I'm coming in the Mississippi, doing the speed limit. Actually, I had the cruise set, so I wasn't speeding. I was just just vibing. I'm listening to my music and whatnot. I think I was talking to wifey and seeing the sign for the Mississippi scale house, and at the bottom it said it was closed. So it's like I bet. Now this is what y'all don't know. A lot of the freight, majority of the freight that the Amazon ships, it's under like 20 some thousand pounds. So don't nothing have to be scaled out. Now I'm a it's some other shit too, so I'm gonna get to that. So I didn't scale the load out, but everything was straight. When I picked up the load, I did my pre-trip on the trailer. And that's something I can say. When it comes to their trailers, they are on point when it comes to making sure that the tires are well taken care of, the brakes, the lights, all of that is on point. The problem kicks in when you have these companies that are actually like the people. Matter of fact, hold on real quick, y'all. All right, sorry about that, fam. But anyway, like I said, but when it comes to their trailers, their trailers is on point. I have pulled a couple of their trailers where the brakes, need to be adjusted and whatnot. I know how to adjust trailer brakes, but I was like, I'm not about to get out, get on no fucking ground just to adjust their trailer brakes when I'm taking this trailer from, let's say, Chattanooga to M1 Memphis. And when I say M1, that's the actual code to the facility. You know where I gotta go. Matter of fact, I think that might be M1 might be in Raleigh. Well, it's Memphis, but it's the border of Fraser and Raleigh. Now, y'all know anything about 3 6 Mafia and Fraser Boy and whatnot? Shout out to Fraser Boy. Hey, man, I was like, God damn, boy. I was like, whew. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, it's in the border of Fraser and Raleigh. But anyway, so that is one positive thing. But on the flip side, when it comes to the actual independent contractors or carriers that are pulling these trailers, a lot of their trucks is beat the fuck up. Where I was at, they had me in this red Freightliner. The top fenders in the back, the bitches was gone. So that was one. The second thing, I know I definitely made a video and I showed that shit about the cracked windshield. And dude was like trying to get me to take it. And I was like, nah, man, I'm not doing that shit. This is my license that we're talking about. And he had the nerve to come out and say, oh yeah, because North Carolina DOT did pull me over and they said something to me about it. But he don't know what I know with that crack that I showed y'all. they should have put his ass out of service. Like for real. They should have put him out of service. So the like I said, the top fenders was gone. The truck was it was kind of beat up. The motor had wound up going out on me. The rod had threw out of place and all this other shit. They didn't have no enough finances where, well, they probably do, but motherfuckers being cheap. Because when I broke down on actually a little south of Bristol, Virginia, up there by the racetrack, you know, NASCAR and whatnot. And shit, they ain't calling no tow truck or anything. Motherfuckers like, man, you just gonna have to sit there till tomorrow. Then we come up there and get the truck and get you and whatnot. Took me out of that truck, then they put me in this white Volvo. I think that was a 780. That's like the big boy Volvo. It's a late model. That truck was beat up also. That motherfucker had like about 5,000, about 5 million miles on it. And from what was said to me is that's one of their friends. That's his truck, and he was letting them borrow it and everything. Then they took me out that truck because it was a sister that was over there, Miss Gloria. And I think she wound up quitting on them too. Well, I know she quit, but they wound up putting me in her truck. So I was like, all right, cool. And that truck was raggedy as fuck too. The tire pressure, all the tires, they was just all over the place. So it's like every other day, you know, my tire air gauge, trying to make sure my air pressure is right. The truck, it got a hard bounce to it. The truck needs some new shocks all the way around. You know, like I said, I'm sitting up here telling these motherfuckers. But anyway, oh, and I forgot. The hood of the truck that they put me in, that Miss Gloria got out of, is black. The rest of the truck is white, but the hood is black. So when wifey seen it, some other people seen it, they was like, man, look like motherfucker just put this truck together and just threw you in it, huh? So I'm in Mississippi. I'm in this truck with the black hood, but everything white. And the DOT officer, he was sitting in the middle, and it was two trucks that was ahead of me. Some said, "Look in your mirror." So I looked, and I seen him pull out, and I said, "Shit, motherfucker ain't about to get me today, cause shit, you know what I mean? We legit. We ain't speeding, you know, cause a lot of times that's how I got popped for speeding and whatnot. So you know, we ain't speeding, everything straight. Hit them lights. I'm like, fuck. Like, what the fuck is he pulling me over for? So by this time, I'm coming up on the Mississippi Scale House. I'm like, fuck it. You might as well just go ahead and pull in there. You know, get it done, get it over with. So I do all of that. So he asked for the registration, paperwork, and then he wanted to see my logs. Now, this is where the reality like kicked in for me. So I emailed him my logs. Now, when it came to the bills, Amazon, they don't physically give you paperwork for you to turn your bills in to wherever you deliver to. They do what's called, and this is for all my crypto heads. They do what's called smart contracts, where they give you electronic bills. So I'm telling y'all now, they're like for the future in trucking and whatnot. That's where it's going. We're not gonna be carrying bills. The bills are gonna be on our phone and whatnot. So when I was telling him this, he was like, okay. And I was like, now I can pull the bills up and I can show you. So he was like, yeah, do that. So did all of that, gave him everything that he asked for. So I'm under the impression, like, man, we're gonna be about 15 minutes back on the road. Wind up sitting there for about 45 minutes. And what happened was his partner had rolled up, and they just looking. Cause he got his thing, his little tablet in his hand. I'm like, what the fuck are they looking at? And I'm like, they gotta be looking at my log. And cause they was, you know, pointing this and that. So I'm like, they gotta be looking at my logs. I'm like, man, I did everything right. Come to find out, I did not do everything right. They said, we can really put you out of service for 10 hours because of your logs. And I was like, well, why would y'all do that? Obviously, because I've done everything, you know, that my company requires me to do. he said, and I knew. I was like, we're gonna play like we don't know. But he said, you're supposed to flag every time that you stop somewhere, and like you go on duty or you go off duty, and you're supposed to say, quote unquote, what you're doing. Now, in this case, I was like, well, and he seen it for himself because the ELD system, they got this old ass Qualcomm in that truck. I said, officer, on this ELD system, I showed him. I was like, only thing I could do is go on duty. I can't go on duty loading or on duty unloading. They don't even have a button in there for me to go off duty 30-minute break. They don't have that whatsoever. So he was like, well, my advice to you, because the other thing that he said to me, he said, it's two brothers that own this company. And I'm like, how you know that? And he said, yeah, they out of California. So I'm like, damn. How you know that? Because that's where they're from. They're from Cali. And the way how they got to Tennessee from Cali is when Cali had passed that law, the AB 15 law, where basically they came after a lot of owner operators, truck drivers. And it was you either convert over to what the state of California want or deuces. So they left. So that's how they got to Tennessee now. So, I'm like, yeah. So he said, driver, he said, I'm gonna be honest with you. He said, you need to start looking for another job. He was like, because they're gonna get you in a situation you're not gonna be able to get yourself out of. So my wife, she heard all of this and she said, babe, you know what you gotta do. So I had to submit the paperwork, to the people I was working for and whatnot. And I'm sitting up here telling Dan, I'm like, man, this is how I got to do my logs from now on. This motherfucker, he starts laughing at me. Ha 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 ha. Now, but Dan, he drives also. One time the truck had broke down again, and when he came and picked me up in his truck, he had his ELD shit was unplugged. He was riding illegal. So I was like, okay, I'll see what the fuck y'all got going on. You know what I mean? Then the what really put the icing on the cake. Well, it's a lot of shit that put the icing on the cake, but I picked up a load in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, it was not supposed to be a turn and burn. But basically, I make it up there. I was supposed to pick the load up the next day, but when I pulled up, they got like a self key out thing that checks you in and all this other shit. So what wound up popping up on the computer screen was the trailer that I was supposed to pick up the next day. And all of that information goes through their app also. It's called Amazon Relay app. So that information that popped up on the app also. So I'm like, okay. I was like, well, shit, yeah. We gonna go ahead and hook up to the trailer and see how far we can make it back down, because I had to take it somewhere in Atlanta. I said, we're gonna see how far we can go. So did everything, looked at the paperwork. The paperwork had said that the load was like 30 some thousand pounds. So I was like, all right, we ain't gonna scale it out. Got the load. South Carolina scale house was closed. Georgia scale house was closed also at that time. But I wound up stopping because I ain't had no more drive time. I wound up stopping at the rest area right before you come up on the scale house, and that's 85. Is it 85? 85. That first rest area. It's like as soon as you cross over from South Carolina onto that Georgia side. I was like, we're gonna shut it down. We're gonna take a 10-hour break. We're gonna get up, get enough time, go get this load off, and keep on maneuvering. Well, pulls out probably like the 5 miles later, came up on the scale house. They pulled me in. I'm on the phone with wifey again. I'm like, man, why the fuck are they pulling me in? We got the pre-pass in here. I was like, what the fuck is going on? They put me on the scale. So I'm like, what the fuck is really going on? Officer got on there, drive, you need to pull around back, bring your paperwork, driver's license, blah, 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 in. So I'm like, babe, let me call you back. She's like, all right, bet. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but we about to find out. Come to find out, that load was overweight. On the scale, the load was 47,000 pounds, and that was just the trailer by itself. So the officers was like, "Do you want to break the seal and go inside the trailer, try to move shit around?" I'm like, "No." I was like, because it's too much shit that I have to do with contacting people and trying to get the green light to do this. And he said, "Well," he said, "Was this trailer preloaded?" I said, "Yes, sir. I picked this load up in Charlotte." And he said, "Actually, I take that back. I picked that load up in Greenville." Yep, I picked it up in Greenville. No, Greensboro. I picked it up in Greensboro. And he said, "Well," he's like, "the paperwork is showing you picked it up in Charlotte." I'm like, "Nah." So I had to like show him like where I went, and then the logs was, verifying that also. So I had to call Dan up, Daniela, and he talking about you didn't scale the load out. I'm like, what's you can't fucking scale. I was like, nigga, if you scale the goddamn load out, you're still gonna be overweight regardless. You're 47,000 pounds in the box. 47. So and then the officer, he was like, "Do they scale their loads on their property?" I'm like, "Nah." Like, they don't got no scales on their property. They take freight and they put it on like a digital scale, and it shoots out how much it is, and then that information transfers over to the paperwork and whatnot. But I'm like, "Nah." So I'm asking him, I'm like, "Is this going to affect my CSA score?" And he said, "Nah." He was like, this is on Amazon." So that right there, that was my, you know what? I'm not about to keep on fucking around with y'all, um, taking chances. And I just started to pay attention more and more. Now, I'm not going to say the workers in the warehouse, because I never had no problems with any of the workers inside the warehouse. The people that I would have to communicate with through the kiosk, that's who I always had a problem with, because I'm talking to people who cannot understand a lick of English whatsoever. And I can't understand shit that's coming out their mouth. Only thing I was just, you get it? You get it? I'm like, "Say that again." That shit was crazy. So I got fed up, and I said, "Man, enough is enough." And I had to. Well, I started to evaluate some things with myself personally, and ask myself some real serious questions. Like, what do I want? Not what do they want. What do I want? Number one, as a man. Number two, as a business owner. Because yes, at the bottom, y'all, what y'all see, yeah, I do EIN number and everything is legit. So what do because see, the plan was to stay with Dan and Bruno and stack my money up, and then take some money and, down payment, and now I got my own. That didn't happen. So, we got to come up with some other ways and some other plans. And I did. So that's why I'm doing this video now, because I will be doing a little bit more videos on the upcoming journey. I'm not gonna put it out there too much and whatnot, because I'm starting to learn more and more. Sometimes it's not good to put all your business out there, because some people, they do not want to see you win. A lot of people pray and pray on your downfall. With that being said, fam, like I said, it's so much going on. Also, at the same time, you got two foreign drivers that got into major accidents dealing with Amazon, and the spirit just kind of, really talking to me and letting me know, hey, they about to really start targeting Amazon, because at the same time, the corporate for Amazon, they come out and they've been saying that they're not responsible for this and they're not responsible for that. So you get the saying that shit, you're not responsible for this and for that. No, no. I've said this before, and I'm gonna say this one again. Some years ago, Tracy Morgan had got into the accident, and it was a owner operator, and he was pulling a trailer for Walmart. Walmart said the same thing. They're not responsible. The owner operator is this and that and this and that. Well, when it was all said and done, Walmart they wound up breaking bread with Tracy Morgan. So what I'm saying is the people in Texas and then the people definitely out here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, they about to get broken off. So all of that, y'all not responsible, and ain't nobody hearing that shit no more. It's a wrap because y'all are responsible. Y'all are the ones that hire these people. You know what I'm saying? And granted, I mean, listen, everybody is chasing after the American dream, right? But is the American dream, is it real in this time of age that we live in now? And I gotta honestly say, no, no. You spend like $100 at the supermarket. You only come out with like 3 bags worth of food. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous right now. So the American dream, I don't see it. Do you? You know, so that's what's going on though, fam. Like I said, we back at it again. Ninth house truck lines, y'all already know. Man, I told you, man, recruiters, they've been texting, they've been calling and everything. I already know who I'm about to be dealing with and everything. Yeah. I gotta put that work in. So as always, fam, y'all already know. Peace, love, and joy. Holla.